하나이다. 1613년 1월 29일, 2025년 2월 26일,
Let's start.
제158회 새벽을
Today
여는
is the 158th
가정교회
Hundoke
아침
session,
방송을
and it's the
시작하도록
26th of February 2025.
먼저 천진 참부모님께
Let's first
경배를
start with a bow to
드리겠습니다.
true parents and Heavenly Parent.
천진 참부모님께 경배. 바로 다 같이 가전맹세를
Let's
제창하시겠습니다.
recite the family pledge.
가전맹세 1. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 본연 땅을 찾아 본연의 창조 이상인 지상천국과 천상천국을 상공할 것을 맹세하나이다. 2. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님을 모시어 천주의 대표적 가정이 되며 중심적 가정이 되어 가정에서는 효자, 국가에서는 충신, 세계에서는 성인, 천주에서는 성자의 가정의 도리를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 3. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 4대 심정권과 3대 왕권과 황정권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 4. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님의 창조 이상인 천주 대가족을 형성하여 자유와 평화와 통일과 행복의 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 5. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 매일 주체적 정상세계와 대상적 지산세계의 통일을 향해 점진적 발전을 적진화할 것을 맹세하나이다. 6. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님의 태신 가정으로서 천우를 움직이는 가정이 되어 하늘의 축복을 주변에 연결시키는 가정을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 7. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 본연의 혈통과 연결된 위하는 생활을 통하여 심전문화 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 8. 천일국 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 천일국 시대를 맞이하여 절대 신앙, 절대 사랑, 절대 복종으로 신인의 일체 이상을 이루어 지산천국과 청산천국의 해방권과 석방권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 오늘 우리를 대표해서 호리키리 사치코상이 기도해 주시겠습니다. 네, 잘 부탁드립니다.
Let's start with an opening prayer.
お祈りいたします。愛する天の父母様、天地人誠の皇后様、新しい朝を迎えまして、このようにズームを通して多くの兄弟姉妹たちを集めて、本当に朝の訓読会を成し得ることのできるこのひとときを心から感謝申し上げます。2月も終わりに近づき、本当にあと数日でこの訓読会も朝の時間を終えていくということを聞いておりますし、 そして4月の13日には本当に歴史的になされることのなかった大きなお父様、歴史的な事業として、誠のお母様が人類誰も到達することのできなかった人類の宇宙の誠の母として天上におられるお父様と共に変質聖殿を建立され、天の父母様をこの地上に迎えるという壮大なる本当に歴史上またとないこのような事業にお母様が地上にいらっしゃるこの黄金期に共に参加することのできるこのような本当に恩恵の時であるということをお父様、私たちは自覚しながら日々の歩みにあってはまだまだ足りえずご母様のお願いにどれほど応えている私たち祝福家庭であるかということを思いましたときにお母様は大韓民国先民大女子史を通して本当に天の父様が失敗したアダムとエバの内容をすべて桃源復帰してこの地上に誠の父母を迎えるというこのような本来ならば天の父母様が創造のアダムとエバを創造された時点でなすべき果たされるべき内容であったにもかかわらず6000年という長き歴史を得て人類が到達することのできなかった内容に今誠のお母様はお父様の意思を継いで本当にお父様と一つとなって今地上に天の父母様を迎えるというとてつもない内容に女性として一人で立ち向かって行っておられる。アメリカにおられた時は本当に体調を崩されながらもどれほどアメリカのためにアメリカが長子国として本当に勝利するためにと祈りのすべてを捧げながら多くの人々を愛されるその基盤を作りお父様アメリカが本当に韓国と日本と一つとなって3カ国が一つになることによって世界を復帰することのできる議題を作るために投入されてきたお母様であり本当に私たちは今お母様のご健勝を心から願いこれからも天地聖殿を建てられて天の父母様を地上に迎えながらも三大権、四大権、本当にお孫様を中心とした新しい時代権が始まっていこうとしている中にありまして、どれほど私たちが二世たち、三世たち、本当に子孫にお父様を伝えることもできる、そのような業績を残すことができるかということを思いましたときに、まだまだ本当に祝家庭として不足であり、申し訳ないばかりでございますし、現実の私たちの姿は本当に天の願いからまだ遠く、ご母様の願いに責任を果たしなさいと言われながらも、具体的には本当にできなかった内容が多くあることを思いながら、ただただ申し訳なく思い、それでもこのような小さき私たちを用いざるを得ない天の事情があることを思いまして、どうか一歩でも二歩でも前進することのできるような私たち祝福家庭、先民としてご母様が立たれてから祝福家庭が先民であるということをおっしゃってくださっておりますので、先民としての自覚を持つならば何をすべきかということを明確にしながら、お父様は地上で本当にお母様が我をもとしてホーリーマザー班として本当に人類を抱えてなそうとされるその御業にほんの少しでも加担することができる祝福家庭としてなっていくことができるよう導いてくださいまするようにと心からお願いしながら これからの歩み、また4節を通して与えられた多くの御言葉は、天から来る御言葉で、お父様が語りたかった内容であることを、お父様、どれほどお父様が宿家庭、一家庭一家庭に語りたい内容であったかということを思いながら、それを日々の生活の中で一つでも実践していくことができるような、私たち宿家庭となっていくことができるよう導いてくださいますようにと、これからの方向性はまだまだはっきり私たちにも分かりませんけれども、天が願う方向へと必ずや導かれていくことを思っておりますので、どうか天の願いに、誠のご母様の願いに応えるお父様祝福家庭として今後の歩みが導かれることを願いまして、ホーリーマザー、ハンニー・ハベル祝福家庭、堀木幸子の名によって天の御前にご報告申し上げました。アージュ。
아주. 하나코상 기꺼이 마센.
네, 허리끼리 사치코상 감사합니다.
Thank you for your prayers.
사랑하시는
You're really loving
기도
true
감사합니다.
parents so
그럼
deeply, and I thank you for that.
듣는 시간을
Now let's hear
갖겠습니다.
the gratitude appreciation.
오늘 평소보다 많이 얼굴이 나와 있는 것 같습니다. 오늘, 음, 그, 今日、いくこさん、お願いします。今日、後ろの背景が違いますね、いつもと。はい、いくこさんです。
はい、久しぶりに休憩に来ています。感謝ですね。本当に大きな感謝なんですが、昨日ですね、主人と、訓読会の後、話をしていまして、ふと、この訓読会がなくなったらあとどうしようかと、話をしていたんですが、ふと思ったことは、私たちは本当に主人ががんの告知を受けていますから、半年と言われて、3月で半年になります。でも、なんて言うんでしょうかね。毎日、特にその死の恐怖とか不安とか、それからなんか恐ろしいそのものに巻き込まれないで、毎日暮らしていることが本当に不思議だなと昨日の朝思いましたが、
はい、通訳してからね。
네, 오늘 감사합니다. 오늘은
Thank you.
휴가로 나왔습니다.
Today I'm off and I could attend because of that.
감사하는 일입니다. 네, 어제 남편과 훈독회 후 잠시 이야기를 나누었습니다.
Yesterday I talked with my husband about the Hundoke, and we talked about how the content and
남편이 암 선포를 받았는데 6개월
my husband has received like
시한부 네, 받았었습니다.
he had received operation and 6 months ago.
그런 게 없이 그
So
안전한 마음으로 지내올 수 있었던 것은 정말 감사한
yeah,
일이.
I'm really grateful that we didn't have fear of death, but we could really spend these last months without any fear of death and really peacefully spend the time together.
それでもう瀬戸際でですね、毎日瀬戸際でいるんですが、神様の愛を朝本当にたっぷりいただいて、一日もうそこにサタンといいますか、そういう恐ろしい感情と相対しないように頑張っているんですが、本当に温かくて毎朝手を振れば嬉しくて、皆さん自助祭をしてるなっていうのを感じて、一日が出発できることが天使国だなと本当に感動しています。 毎朝感謝してます。ありがとうございま
あり
す。
がとうございます。訳して。
네, 매일 아침에
Every morning,
여러분 얼굴을 보면서
when I
아침에
see everybody's
인사를 드리는
face,
것이
I feel like I can make a start for the day.
좋았습니다.
And I'm
거기에
happy
하나님이
about that.
계시고
God is present,
사탄과 상대하지 않아도
and
되고
and we don't need to relate to Satan.
흔들리는 그 모습이나 그런 게 보면서 정말
So when I
여기가
see all of you on the screen, then I feel this is really the kingdom of heaven.
ご主人様、よろしくお願いします。
はい、私も本当に毎朝このようにして4会長、そしてまた皆さんにお会いできるのを楽しみにしております。ありがとうございます。
저도 매일 그
Me
영회장을
too.
비롯하여 여러분을 만날 수 있는 것에
Thanks to Dr. Young, I've been able to meet all of you, and I'm also very grateful about that.
退職しましたけれども、もうそれまでは本当、家族のことをもうほったらかしにしまして、仕事ばっかりやっておりました。朝早くから夜遅くまで、時には家に帰らないことも、仕事で、ね、家に帰らないことも多くありまして、それを本当に、この4会長の御言葉を聞いて、家族が中心だということで、本当にありがとうございます。
네. 6년 전에 퇴직을 했습니다.
A few years ago, I retired.
하지 않고 아침 일찍부터 밤늦게까지 때로는 집에 일이 때문에 돌아오지 않을 때도 있었습니다.
I worked from early morning until late at night, and I didn't often come home, and I didn't really think a lot about home. But through Dr. Young's Hundoke, I realized that the family is the front line, and I have changed my mindset towards the family.
やっぱり私はがんになってですね、あまり余命いくばくない、かなり末期であるということを聞いたことがきっかけになったと思い、それが何と言いますか、それがもう神様の啓示といったらおかしいですけども、ものではないかと今感謝しております。
네, 이렇게 제가 바뀌는 것도 암 선물을 받아서 여명이 얼마 없다라는 것을 듣고
When I received the cancer treatment and surgery, there was told I was told that we don't know about the future, but he could feel God's love.
下村さん、ファイトだって、ファイト。
ありがとうございます。
He was cheered on by another participant to keep fighting. God's words equals God's love. So God's word is treating and healing my spiritual self. This is the medicine. God's word equals God's love, and it can treat our spiritual selves. So not only cancer, but also it is a medicine that can cleanse my fallen nature. So when we have a distance with the word of God, then we cannot be treating our spiritual selves. So it's so important. Through Horikiri-san's prayer, I had I felt a lot. He's using play on words, and he said, "How about if we change her name to Holy Kiri?" Her first name is Holy Kiri, and then Holy Kiri. He prayed about the North and South Korean unification. And this morning, when I did Hundoke with my wife, so it was about Father's establishment of the Korean Federation 1987. So when Father established the Korean Federation, And Abraham said, even if the unification comes about externally, we need to, the most important point is that it needs to be centered on Abel, and there needs to be a internal passion and preparation internally. Then if there is no internal preparation and it's only happening externally, then the providence will be prolonged. That's what Abraham said. So also True Father went to spirit world, and also we haven't completed North and South Korean unification. So I'm realizing through Father's words that we have not we don't have an internal foundation to stand in front of the world and make the unification possible. We are not united totally with true parents, and we have not made enough foundation with the government and the country, that we have not taught them the internal thought that can bring about the unification. So I feel a lot of regret, and I realize it's not just the external matter to unite North and South Korea, but it's an internal matter. It is really like a matter of faith to unite North and South Korea. So this made me really reflect today. So we need to have really a passion, and we need to really move the heart of the population in Korea. Otherwise, it will just be prolonged, the providence, and will be delayed, the unification. So I've really repented for that this morning as I read this Hondoke content with my wife. So let's go into now today's Hondoke content.
네, 자, 오늘도 영회사님의 귀한 말씀 듣는
Today we
시간을
will also hear through Dr. Young precious words from true parents, and let's start now. Today we are laying not only foundation for the unification of North and South Korea and the health of True Mother, but all brothers and sisters from the world are setting a condition today to come here together, and I greet you all. So today let's first read True Mother's words, and the title of the Meds, it's connected from yesterday. It's called, like yesterday, The Path of Life for All Humankind. We started out in our mother's womb. The womb was the first world in which we were nurtured. When we were born, we separated from that world and entered a new world. Likewise, in death, the spirit self cuts off and flies away from the physical body, which is like its womb. Human beings pass through a world of water and a world of land and air until they come to live in the eternal world of love. In the spirit world, love is the life element. As long as your command is given through love, anything you say will be accomplished immediately, and nothing will be impossible. Even if 1 billion people say they want to have dinner, the appropriate meal can be prepared and the feast can be ready in an instant. If all the guests say they want to become princess and princesses, then everyone will indeed be turned into princess and princesses. This will actually be possible. Now that you know these things, would you like to live here on earth or go to the next world? When we are in the womb, we think the womb is the best place to be. We just spend our time kicking. If someone were to try pulling us out midway through, we wouldn't like it at all. When it is finally time to come out of the womb, it is like dying and then being resurrected. In the same way, after physical death, we are resurrected to a new form of life. Therefore, death is actually a second birth. Ladies and gentlemen, because human beings fell, our life course is not a smooth path. The fall of the first human ancestors led to misery for human beings. God also suffered misery. For this reason, we do not dedicate our lives only to the accomplishment of the ideal world. An even more important goal for our life is to clear away the sorrow and agony in the heart of God, who is the origin of all life. Thus, when human beings finally attain happiness, then God too will be happy.
하나님도 행복해집니다. 사랑하는 식구 여러분,
Beloved members, human beings pass through a world of water in the mother's womb and a world of land and air on earth, and they come to live in the eternal world of true love after taking off from their physical bodies, since in the spirit world, love is the life element. It is a world where you cannot move at all unless you possess love.
그러니까 내가 사랑을
Just as
소유하지
humans cannot live,
행동하는 그 반경에
My-
행동하는 그 범위가 제한이 되어 있다는 거예요.
it means like my area of movement is limited in the spirit world. I cannot feel like total freedom. So really there is paradise and the era of total freedom where I can go anywhere without any restriction. That is the kingdom of heaven. So it depends how I treat people will influence how I can move in the spirit world. And it's really important that we can really practice true love and we can really substantiate true love. Just as humans cannot live even a few minutes on earth without air, this is the world where people cannot live without love, because the spirit world is absolutely a world of love. Therefore, in the spirit world, nothing is impossible to command through love, and everything is accomplished instantly. If you command anything through love, it is coming about instantly. So how in the physical world, from 1 to 100, like eating, sleeping, everything, talking and thinking, we should do everything centered on love. This is the training of the physical world. So we can say that according to True Father talks about how beautiful the world of heaven is. The beauty of the world of heaven cannot be described in any language. So those who have tasted heaven once will come to realize that the world we live in is hell among hells. So those who experience the spirit world, and I also read many books and I'm listening to the internet, then when people pass, leave their physical body and go into the spirit world, it's people that are kind of in the midway, in the middle level in the spirit world. They say it's also beautiful. It's beautiful there. And those who have tasted the beautiful world,
그런데 천사들이
Those-
푸시해가지고 당신은 지상에 내려가서 영계라는 것이 어떤 것인가를 선포해야 될 사명이 있다 해가지고 다시 이 지상에 내려가라는 명령을 받았을 때
So some people that go to spirit world, they have to go back to the physical world by the angels, and we're told to come back to the physical world, and they feel it's like hell to them.
내용이더라고요.
It's such a content that we heard from
천사에 이제 영계 가셨는데
my physical father. Went to spirit world when he was 63,
열흘 후인가 나타나가지고
and he came like about after 2 days or 10 days after he passed away. He came through my mother and spoke. He said the spirit world
아름다운 세계인 줄
is so, I didn't know it is such a beautiful world.
꽃으로 장식이 되어 있다.
It is like so beautiful, everything. There's so many beautiful flowers, and it's so beautiful. I can't even find words to express how beautiful it is. So I realized the spirit world is such a beautiful world.
천국의 세계가 얼마나 아름다운 세계이길래
So how beautiful is the kingdom of heaven
지옥이라고 할까요?
that we realize the physical world is just like hell. If we want to experience it one time, we cannot experience it and come back to the physical world. So the beautiful spirit world, people that taste that beautiful spirit world, they don't want to come back to the physical world. It must be so beautiful in the spirit world. So death is actually a second birth. Due to the fall of the first human ancestor, not only humans became unhappy, but even God became unhappy. God has created such a beautiful kingdom of heaven, but even one single human being has not been able to go into the kingdom of heaven, and God is so sorrowful about that. He invested everything and created all things for mankind. And according to Abraham's words, to True Father's words, if mankind receives the blessing and becomes perfect, then God could not show mankind that love and that beautiful world. Even one tenth of the love that God wanted to show mankind, he could not show 1/10 of the love in the kingdom of heaven. So God has so much sorrow because he wanted to show much more to us. So we need to understand the kingdom of heaven is not for me to go to the kingdom of heaven, but it's God. God prepared the kingdom of heaven, and I need to really have the qualification to go there in order to make God happy. So God prepared for us that kingdom of heaven so beautifully, and for us to go there, we need to think and have the motivation that we want to really make God happy through that. It's not just for me to be happy. I cannot just think, oh, I just go into the kingdom in order to be happy. That is not sufficient. We need to think about going to the kingdom of heaven in order to make God happy and in order to remove God's grudge and suffering. This is our purpose of living on this earth. We need to comfort God in the kingdom of heaven, and this is really a kingdom in which Hyojong is the center of everything. Today we are going right into Father's words. We're passing the fall of man. Adam and Eve did not have a yearning feeling for what would come after keeping the commandment. Adam and Eve didn't understand what the purpose of creation was. They didn't long for what would come after obeying the commandment. If they had not forgotten their lives and life feelings, and if the feeling of yearning for what would come after obeying the commandment had ruled over their lives, Adam and Eve would not have eaten the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Adam and Eve, who didn't have the yearning heart for the ideal, cherished the words of the archangel infiltrating from the side more than God's words. There the sadness of humankind began. It was the very origin of the dark sleep of humankind.
옆으로 들어오는 천사장의 말이 하나님의 말씀보다 더 귀한 줄 알았습니다. 거기서부터 인류의 슬픔은 시작이 되었습니다. 어두운 잠의 기운은 바로 그것이었던 것입니다. 아담과 헤와가 천사장의 유혹을 이길 수 있는 그러한 순간에
the way for Adam and Eve to overcome the archangel's temptation. If Adam and Eve at such moment could have recognized God's words not to eat with open eyes, if they could have reminded themselves that much bigger things than the archangel's promises would be theirs after God blessed them to dominate all things, there would have been no human fall. This made up all the details of human history. We ourselves must start a movement to seek for our true selves and to try to find our own responsibility and find out who we can become after that. If Adam could have reached the completion stage and owned the heart to dominate all things, then what would have been established? The love of Adam, Eve, and all things, and the love of God would have been bound and perfected. Their bond of heart would have been unbreakable and inseparable.
어떻게 보면 좀 말씀을 이해하기 어려운데요.
It's like also it's difficult to understand True Father's words, but when we really understand it deeply, it has such deep meaning. So I explain it. One of the causes of Adam and Eve's fall was that they did not properly understand the purpose of creation, which is God's will. The purpose of creation was the dream and ideal that God gave to Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve needed passion and yearning to know God's will, ideal, and dream, and to realize that vision. If Adam and Eve had kept the commandments God gave them, there would have been no dream or longing that would unfold before them. Because Adam and Eve did not have a vision to fulfill God's dream, they just settled in reality. If you do not have yearning and passion for your vision to achieve your dreams, you are bound to be overtaken by reality. In addition, we will flow away to physical pleasures and live centered on physical desires. Because Adam and Eve had no yearning for the vision to make their dreams come true, they were horizontally guided by the voice of the archangel. From there, the origin of darkness began. These words of True Father are very important in our lives. If we want to prevent ourselves as well as our youth from falling, we need to sow in the mind more deeply the beautiful vision that will come after the command not to eat the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. However, if you only emphasize not to eat the fruit, if you only emphasize, oh, you need to keep the purity, most teenagers will object. Most important is that we need to understand the vision and the dream, how beautiful it is. That's why you need to, if you really the dream and the vision that's coming after keeping your purity, then if you really can envision that what is coming afterwards, that you become a beautiful husband and wife and can spend the first night together with your eternal spouse, then this dream can be planted and needs to be instilled. So then they can long for the dream, so they can realize the beauty of the vision and dream that will be realized if they do not eat the fruit and keep their purity.
이것이 하나님의 창조 목적이고 하나님의 뜻이라는 것을 알려주면서
we must instill in our children and young people how beautiful the vision and dreams of the three great blessings are. We must instill in them how beautiful the vision of the four great realms of hearts are and the three great kingships and the dream to longing to realize them. So we need to make them need to move their hearts and needs to motivate our children to keep dreaming this way. And the problem is, of course, for first generation, that they just tell their teenagers, oh, you need to keep your purity, you need to receive the blessing. It's only the conclusion that we give them, and that is not effective. We need to, God also said, if you eat the fruit, then you will die. But God gave first the blessing prior to the commandment. So also we need to tell the children that we need to really become one within ourselves, and we need to really follow the first blessing and second blessing. So we need to really the 20-year-olds, they have so many temptations with drugs and alcohol and games and the fall. So we need to, most importantly, instill a vision in them. It is the three great blessings, the vision that we can encourage. So really, and the three great kingships that we can give them that vision, how beautiful this ideal is, and that they can really have a longing and yearning for that.
이제 호주의 그 한국에서 이제 선교를 나온 사람들
In Australia, we have 7 missionaries that came from Korea, and I gave them an explanation about that dream, and some of them cried when they heard my explanation, and they came to do missionary work and to really wanting to help True Mother. But when they heard me explain this, then they really felt deeply, I need to have a vision for the future. What is my vision for the future is really to create an ideal family. And when someone has that they had the conviction then by hearing that, and they started to cry. They were moved by that. Why do I have to keep my purity? Why do I need to receive the blessing? Why do I need to raise an ideal family? They were really, they resonated with that explanation, and then they cried as a result of that.
그래서요, 제가 이제 느끼는 것은 자, 저도 이제 퇴직을 했잖아요.
So me too. Also, I've become now. I'm a retiree, and I have already 68 years old in Korean age. So when I become 70 years soon, and I don't know whether I die in 10 years or 20 years, and people say, oh, you have to prepare for that time. But I think the remaining time that's on earth given to me, I need to live really beautifully. So after my retirement, which dream do I have? After I retire, I want to know about God's ideal. And even if you are old, what kind of dream am I embracing, and how am I living according to that dream? How am I really saving people, and how am I saving God? This is the question. So I can really have a lot of energy then according to that dream, and I can. True Father talks about that you need to have longing for the dream, that you have that longing, that you really have that really loving heart, that passionate heart. Then you day by day will become younger rather than older. As it says, those who don't have a vision, they will perish. It says in the Bible. So if you become older, you need to just forget about your age and need to just focus on your vision, so that your future can be joyful and can really be every day can be a day filled with hope. So I'm dreaming about the second page of my life, and I dream about this. So as I'm coming to Oceania, my dream is to really restore one island totally, instead of trying to unite entire Korea. But that's my offering for True Mother, that I could restore one island totally and offer it to True Mother. And this is now my dream, and I'm preparing diligently, and I'm preparing divine principle, and I'm preparing the word, and I'm preparing internally in every way, so that I can really strategically go forward and really substantially bring a whole island to True Mother. I am preparing every day for that, and I feel my heart is filled with hope, and many and one member here was like got cancer, and so if you have, and my recommendation to you is that you please also have a vision, have a dream that you are living for God and living for mankind, and then you will have you will get a lot of energy and hope from it. So I spoke a little bit longer. So now the next is today we're talking about what kind of family is a family that thrives. When parents see their children make mistakes, they must first have the heart to ask their children for forgiveness while shedding tears. Where did children's fallen nature come from? When parents see their children's faults, even if it is the children that did wrong, if the parents first seek forgiveness from the children while reflecting with regret, would that family thrive or perish? Such a family will surely thrive and God will give blessings. Among our members, there are people who still do not know what their own portion of responsibility is. Not knowing their portion of responsibility means not knowing my own responsibility regarding people I relate to. People who decide things self-centeredly and act thoughtlessly are people who do not know what their responsibility is. The next case is where you know a little bit about your responsibility as people who received the blessing, but you are still lacking a lot. Among blessed families of the Unification Church, there are people who dislike or hate their husbands, who stay away from the church and neglect the will. But you cannot do that. Women have the responsibility to stand in the position women have the responsibility to stand in the able position and make her husband long for his wife. Then can she dislike and criticize her husband? It's a very important message here. As a parent, how should you treat your child's fallen nature? When parents see their children make mistakes, they must first have the heart to ask their children for forgiveness while shedding tears. It could be, you can see your children that are rebellious or that don't want to receive the blessing. So you need to think that as a parent, you need to shed tears first, and you need to ask for forgiveness from your children. The way to repent of unfilial children is for parents to think that children's fallen nature is their own and to feel more pain and shed more tears than their children before they blame their children for their mistakes. Next, our basic portion of responsibility is how to make the other person long for us. Our basic portion of responsibility is to move others with love. You have to move your opponents so that they naturally surrender. This is very important. So the basic responsibility is that we can really move others with love, how we can touch their hearts. So we need to move people's heart and make them naturally surrender. However, among blessed families of the Unification Church, there are people who dislike or hate their husbands, who stay away from the church and neglect the will. In the family, if as a wife and as a mother, the most important responsibility is really if the husband has no faith and he doesn't even know principle and he doesn't go to Chongpyeong or he doesn't go to the church, you cannot complain about that. You need to take responsibility for your husband and connect with him artistically and move his heart. So it's a responsibility that the husband can really long for his wife. How much am I really longing for my husband, and how much can my husband long for me? This is really the wife's responsibility. So the husband's responsibility is also that the husband needs to treat the wife so that the wife can really long for the husband and be artistically moved. So what is the responsibility for parents also, so that the children can really long for the parents? So it's like for the object partner, for the husband, for the children. So as we live for others and as we really sacrifice for others, that's really the responsibility. So the basic responsibility is to love.
여러분 한번 반성해 보세요.
So think about, reflect about that. My wife,
필타 중이면 어디를 가면
when I go anywhere, is my wife really longing for me?
할 수 있게끔 만들어 놨으면 책임 끝난 거예요.
If you have made your wife like that she's longing for me, that she's missing for you, then you have succeeded.
언제 돌아오지?
And
그리워하는 마음이
is the wife really saying, oh, when is my husband coming back? Oh, I'm missing him. I'm longing for him. And when the husband also comes back to the family, oh, does he have the heart? Oh, I want to really see my wife. Oh, I want to really see the mother in the family. If we have, so even though you're busy with the company's work, but you really, how about the question is when you come home, are you really longing for your wife? You want to see them quickly. When your child is coming home from school, is your child really thinking, I want to go quickly home and meet my loving father and my loving mother? That's the question. Are they really longing for you?
나는 남편으로서 빵점이구나.
I think as a husband, I have not fulfilled my responsibility. Have I really a longing heart towards my wife? Do I really long for my children and even willing to cry for them when I miss them so much? So I realize I have still a lot to do and a lot of responsibility, a lot to do. I think I was not able to do that for my wife and I was not able to do that for my children. But my mother, she has that heart towards me. When I call her, she says, oh, I want to see you. And also me, I want to see my mother so much that I sometimes cry because I want to see her so badly. So if I have that kind of heart and love and the tears from my own physical mother, then I need to also develop that towards my wife and my children. It's really a responsibility of longing. If you can develop that longing heart, then everything is done. Everything is finished. I have so much really, I was moved by this word. Enter the family with the mind to be filial between the husband and wife, who is in a more pitiable position. However we look at it, the husband is more pitiable than the wife. If a man cannot receive confidence from his wife, he will have the heart that does not want to go home. Even if it is his own home, he will not have the heart that wants to enter. If a husband hurts his wife's heart, he will feel that way even more. A husband feels that conscientiously. From that perspective, the husband is in a pitiable position first. Not only that, it is the same with the wife's position. If she serves and respects her husband well, but fails to become a respected wife, she will also be embarrassed before heaven. The thing we must realize here is that when a husband enters his house, they must get rid of the concept, this is my house, I have entered my house. When you enter your house, there should be no concept of saying to yourself, this is my house, or I have entered my house. You must think that you enter to practice filial piety in this family. If you have such a filial heart, you will be welcomed by your wife and children, but if not, you become pitiful. This is amazing message from words. If a man does not receive and receives respect from his wife, he does not want to come home, and his heart is like a wilderness. He cannot settle down. In order for a man to settle, a wife's role is very important. A woman should be the subject of longing in front of a man. What's the home for a husband? It is the woman's heart. If you have as a woman the heart to longing for your husband, then your your mind is, or your heart is, the husband's eternal hometown.
가정의 중심은 여자이고
The center of the family is the woman and the mother.
존경해서
If she serves and respects her husband well, but fails to become a respected wife, she will also be embarrassed before heaven. And that is the same goes for men. The thing that we must realize here is that when husbands enter the house, they must get rid of the concept, this is my house, I have entered my house. You must think that you entered to practice filial piety in this family. If you have such a filial heart, you will be welcomed by your wife and children. But if not, you become pitiful.
그런 말씀의 내용이 되겠습니다. 다음 내용입니다.
Next content is the couple's responsibility is to play the role of a servant of love to each other. Men must serve their wives well with a heart of filial piety. Then, if the wife is moved by her husband and she has a heart of filial piety towards her husband, wouldn't it be worth living? When we have a filial wife, filial daughter-in-law, and filial children in the family, isn't that family worth living in? However, if the husband is ignored by the wife and the children don't listen, isn't it a failed life? That is why we blessed couples must absolutely use respectful language to each other in the family. Using respectful language means respecting the other person. It means not thinking of your partner as your own possession. The couple's responsibility is to play the role of a servant of love to each other. We must become servants of love. I, who exist because of love, must become a servant of love. True parents have first walked the path of having the heart of a parent in the body of a servant while showing us that model.
그 본을 우리들에게 보여주셨습니다. 사랑하는 식구 여러분,
Beloved brothers and sisters, men must serve their wives well with a heart of filial piety.
그래서 부인이
Then, if the wife is moved by her husband and she has a heart of filial piety towards her husband, wouldn't it be worth living?
어떻게 해서
Therefore, we must create a family of Hyojong.
문제입니다.
That's the problem. When there is a filial wife, a filial husband,
효도를 한다.
a filial daughter-in-law,
남편 앞에 저렇게 효도를
and a filial children in a family,
보면 저렇게
it becomes a family where life is truly worth living for and a family that God visits.
참 그런 가정을 이룰 때 하나님이
If you
찾아오시는
have such a family, then it is a family where God wants to dwell.
효의 가정을 만드는 것이
The ultimate goal of the age of love is to create a family of filial piety. In order to become a family of filial piety, we blessed families must use respectful language to each other in the family. You must use the language of Hyojong. Always use the language of praise, the language of encouragement, the language of tenderness, and the language of love. Direct language, commanding language, judgmental language, and negative language should be avoided. If you just live according to your character and just have that direct language, it's not good because it causes pain and it's hurt people. So you need to avoid direct language. You need to avoid commanding and judgmental language and avoid negative language. You need to really have the heart of a parent and respect each other in the family.
부모는 자식 앞에 사랑의 종이 아닙니까? 우리는
The
사랑의 종이
couple's responsibility is to play the role of a servant of love to each other. We must become servants of love. I, who exist because of love, must become a servant of love. True parents have first walked the path of having the heart of a parent in the body of a servant while showing us that model. Today I talked about the couple's responsibility is to play the role of a servant of love to each other. Thank you for listening.
네, 오늘도 귀한 말씀 감사합니다.
Today also is very precious words that we heard.
거기에 들어가고 싶은 정도로
It is beautiful to hear, like, yes, if there is a heart of love, then we want to live in that and go inside.
부모하고 자식은 그런 마음이 생겨도 왜 부부하고는 그렇게 어려울까요?
Even though there is a heart, a natural heart between children and parents, why is it so hard to have that relationship with husband and wife. Dr. Young says it's because the parent child relationship is a vertical relationship, and the husband and wife is a horizontal relationship, but we need to really connect vertically with our spouse as well, because we're treating each other horizontally, and that's why it's not developing. Thank you for the precious words. And now let's hear the reflection.
여기 우리 구보장한테 갑시다. 구보.
あ、
久保
ね、久保さん。ね、ひまわりが素敵ですね。本当に。
いつも本当に御言葉いただいて感謝しております。今日いただいた御言葉は、私は結構ストレートダイレクトに物事を言うことが多いので、本当に最後の一言がずさーっときました。正直に物事を言って悪くは思ってはいないんだけれども、どれだけ相手に対してはべる心情を持って生きてきたか、特に夫に対して本当にまあだから最後の言葉にピサッともうなんか教えられました。常に私は大的に思って発してるからだっていうことで、最後の一言がずしんときました。そうだ、重的にっていう、常に尊敬を一回だけおはようございますって言ったことありますけど、それ以上はお尊敬。主人はその時びっくりしましたけど、どうしたの？
지약하실
네. 네, 말씀 감사합니다.
Thank you for the word today.
마지막에 하나쿠 씨의 질문에 대한 그 용회자 말씀에 관한 것인데 그거에 대해서 저는 남편에게 솔직하게 다이렉트로 말하는 일이 있었다.
There was I related with my husband, and I talked to my husband directly and honestly, and it relates to what you explained, and I was not able to connect with him artistically or vertically. So I think I didn't have the heart to attend my husband. So this is my reflection.
夫にいかにはべれるかって祈ってるんですけど、本当に先生が最後におっしゃった、大的に接しているからだということで、これからは本当にそういった意味で尊敬語っていうことがまあなかなか祈りはしてても全然できないと思いながらずっと思ってた課題でしたが、本当にありがとうございます。それでも努力できるかどうかは本当に少しずつ頑張っていきます。
ありがとうございます。
いつもありがとうございます。
はい、今村さん。はい。
네, 남편에게 어떻게
How can I attend my husband? That's really my homework, and this makes me really think about today's message. There were problems because I just treated my husband horizontally, and I realized that I need to keep a vertical standard and mindset towards him. Your reflection, as I'm listening to that, I have someone that I'm really most sorry towards that person, and I need to say I'm sorry. It's really my younger brother's my younger sister's husband. I need to say I'm sorry for that, because my younger sister, she's a very, very direct person, and she probably gave a lot of pain and hurt to Sato, the husband, and so I think I need to repent a lot about that. And I think when I look at your character, I'm thinking, oh, maybe you have a similar character, so I'm really apologizing on your behalf towards your spouse.
봅시다.
네, 다음 분 혹시 이야기하고 싶은 분이 계실까요?
So one more reflection
내가
for
볼
today.
때는 정규상 장로님이 뭔가 하고
네.
싶은 말이 있는 것 같아.
네, 잘 부탁드립니다.
감사합니다. 반갑습니다.
Thank you. I'm glad
아까도
to be here
말씀드렸지만
today.
우리
As you said
신부님께서
today,
힘내세요. 항상
so please,
기도하고 있습니다.
please, Shimamura-san,
말씀을
please be strong. I'm praying for you always.
말씀하시면서 느끼는 것은
So today, what I
천국은
thought about
바늘구멍에 들어가는 것보다 힘들구나 하는 말씀을 하면서
when I heard the explanation about the kingdom of heaven, we have a lot of homework that we need to do before we can go into the kingdom of heaven.
그렇게 자꾸 숙제가 말씀을 들으면 또 숙제가 되고 또 숙제가
Yet,
되고 그런 것
whenever I
같은데
listen to the word, then I feel I have to really. I realize it's more homework for me to do.
어제 집안에 사건이 하나 있었는데 이제
Yesterday there was a situation in my area.
제가 이 말씀을 들으면서 이제 평소에보다는 조금 더
When I hear the word every day, then I feel I'm making more effort now to live by the word than before. And also, like, I make a lot of effort to make my wife, to please my wife more and make her comfortable. So yesterday when I was drinking water,
근데 다른 데 같으면 집사람이 아이 좀 똑바로 보고 내리지 뭐 아니면 뭐 이제 나이가 먹었나 뭐 이제 이런 식으로다가 했을 텐데 아주 그 애기가 실수한 것처럼 그렇게 표현을 해주더라고요. 그러면서 아우 저기 가서 빨리 옷만 갈아입으라고 여긴 신경 쓰지 말고 옷 갈아입으라고 그러면서 아주
so he spilled, I think, a cup of water, and then she looked at him like a child, and then he had to change his clothes quickly.
또 오늘 아침에 우리 용 목사님 그 할아버지 이제 그러니까 아버지께서 이제 꿈에 나타나셔서 그랬다는데 그 실제 우리가 이제 홍천에서 용 목사님 어머님을 이제 모시고 같이 예배를 보는데 이제 간증을 하나 들었는데
And he
돌아가시고 얼마 있다가 화장실에 돈 2천만 원 어디 이제 내가 잘 간직해놨으니까 사서 쓰라고 이제 그래서 꿈을 통해서 그래서 가보니까는
he said he attended his mother before she passed away, and she said from the spirit world, after she passed away, she passed on a message that there was some money in the house, and he could retrieve that with that message from the spirit world. And so he says he realized the spirit world is
사후에 준비를 해야 되겠다는 그런 생각을 가지면서 요즘 말씀을 하면서 이거 내가 어떻게 뭐를 하나 남겨갖고 가야지 뭐를 그냥 이게 분명히 이제 순독회 끝나면 한 일주일 있으면 이제 도로 까닥하면 이제 점점 원해져야 될 텐데 뭐를 어떻게
when we hear the word, then we need to think, what can we leave behind? What can we substantiate? It seems to be simple, but then we need to I need to if my eyes could just become a little softer, it would be wonderful. Because if my words could just be also softer, so if I could only look at people with love, and then my words would also be softer, and my face would also change. And I was thinking, if I could only do that and realize that would be wonderful. So I need to also witness, and really witnessing is the greatest expression of love.
전번 주 일요일 날은 뭐
Last
그렇게
time
하더라고요.
on
이제 다음 주 일요일 날은
for this
가능하라고 이제
Sunday service,
대답을 했어요. 근데 이제
I invited a
정말
couple to come to church.
그러니까 또 이제 일주일 내내 그 집을 내가 위해서 무엇을 어떻게
So
해줘갖고 더 마음을 살까 이런 생각을
for 1 week, I was thinking, what could I do for this couple? So really, witnessing is really the greatest love, and I have the heart to do something for them. So I'm thankful for the word, and yes, that's my reflection. Thank you.
예, 아주 우리 장로님 귀한 간증 정말 고맙고
So you gave
감사합니다.
really
예,
precious
여러분,
reflection.
오늘
So
내일이 27일이고 28일
tomorrow is the 27th, and then it's the
마감이
the
되는데
28th is the last day for our Hundake.
편하게
Tomorrow,
말씀을 마치고
I will just give a short message,
그에 대한 그
and then I would like to hear really the reflection about the Hundake during that time. So please prepare and prepare your reflection.
이렇게 아침에 훈독회를 통해서 나는
I
정말
would like you to reflect
하늘 앞에 참부모
what
앞에 감사하는 일이
what
무엇인지
is your gratitude towards the Hundake in relation to true parents and heavenly parent, and what is your most memorable content of the Hundake, and what is your determination for the future,
소원이나 그런 것이 있다
and
그러면 얘기해도 좋고요.
okay, what is also your hope.
쉽게 따르지 않고 또
So even
이렇게 말씀을
you can speak also, of course, freely. You don't need to follow a script. So I'm planning to do that. So please, tomorrow I will speak just very briefly, and I want to hear all of your reflections. So on the 28th, so we'll also decide how we will conclude, and I will let you know again about that. So today's recorded content. So when please come back again after 10 minutes. I have a little meeting with the staff.
다시 최종적으로 결론을 지어야 되겠다. 그런 생각을 하게 됩니다. 자, 그러면 사회자에게 마이크를 넘기겠습니다.
네, 오늘도 귀한 시간 감사합니다.
Thank you for the precious time that we could spend together.
鶴谷社長様です。よろしくお願いします。네, 그러면 공명기도, 호명기도.
And now let's conclude with our unison prayer.
해서 네, 말씀을 마음에 새기고 부탁드립니다.
네, 기도하겠습니다.
우주를 만들어도 인간에게 지치고자 하셨던 감사합니다. 부족한 저희 조상들이 잘못을 저질렀다고 믿어서 너무나 잘못된 생활을 평생을 회개하며 살아야 될 저희들이 잊지 못한 지난 날들을 오늘도 말씀을 주신 내용을 대신 과 더불어 이 곁에 항상 하늘이 계시다는 것을 부모님을 같이 하신다는 것을 저희들 알지만
아주입니다.
얼마나 저희들을 믿느냐가 중요하고 저희들이 얼마나 오늘 부모님과 참 부모님을
감사합니다. 아주 네, 부드라 사토미상 아리가또 고자이마스. 하나코시 감사합니다. 또 니지마 히토미상 니코니코 가오 미세테 구다사이. 아리가또 고자이마스. 김주상 장로님, 이순예 권사님 얼굴 보여주세요. 이순예 권사님. 안녕하세요. 고맙습니다. 네.
감사합니다.
시모무라 부부 정말로 감사합니다. 네, 9시 20분에 뵙겠습니다. 나린 팁씨 고마워요.
50분
코코마카
이후로
마무라상 감사합니다. 그 다음에 에또 코지 지즈루 시마타니 후후 감사합니다. 사카이상 후후 감사합니다. 아리가또 고자이마스. 그 다음에 마츠야마 사다코상 아리가또 고자이마스. 김영수 목사님 언제나 감사합니다. 박경화 권사님, 정규상 장로님 감사합니다. 아리가또 고자이마스. 우리 박경화 씨가 요리를 정말 잘하거든요. 진짜 요리의 1등인데 한번 또 요리를 먹으러 요 한국에 가면 서석에 방문하겠습니다. 감사합니다. 테라오 가지코상 후 감사합니다. 그다음에 미호코상 미호코상 부진 20분이죠. 또 상가시마스네. 부진 20분이 네, 요로시코 오네가시마스. 그리고요, 오늘 또 하나 광고를 드리는데 우리 미국에서 영어 통역을 위해서 수고했던 그 모니카 루이스 씨가 아마 오늘 마지막 통역이 될 것 같은데 우리 모니카 루이스 씨에게 한번 박수 한번 보내주세요. 정말로 감사합니다. 네, 모니카 루이스, thank you so much for your beautiful dedication and translation. 감사합니다. 와사나 코코마카 아리가토 고자이마스. 유키 카리아스상 감사합니다. 니와 씨 정말로 감사합니다. 나는 니와 씨 보면 물론 태국이지만 중국계 사람인데 니와 씨 보면 뭔가 북한에서 온 북한에서 온 여성처럼 느낌이 들어가지고 완전히 한국 사람 다 된 것 같아. 네, 감사합니다. 그다음에 구보는
はい。
하실 때
はい、ありがとうございます。
휴지노
감사합니다.
와세레나이데네 요로시쿠
はい。
오네가시마스.
はい。
요시미짱 감사합니다. 문효원 씨 감사합니다. 사토용 혼돈이 스미마센. 마키상 혼돈이 아리가또 고자이마스. 네, 쭈르따니 후후 혼돈이 아리가또 고자이마스. 촘찬 씨 너무너무 고맙고 감사합니다. 그리고 다카시 카즈미상 코다마 후후 혼돈이 아리가또 고자이마스. 위리상 감사합니다. 옥공환 씨 편옥기 감사합니다. 카오리 모리시타상 아리가또 고자이마스. 한효정
せっかくしてるか
한효정
ら、
씨 요즘에 다이어트 하고 있어. 얼굴이
ユニ
많이 살이 빠졌네. 감사합니다. 아이고 에미 와타나베 아이야이야이야이야이야이야이야 에미짱 겐키나 아리가또 고자이마스. 아이야이야이야이야 산린노 고도모 정말 스고이 데스네. 아리가또 고자이마스. 예, 가케치카 아치코상 아리가또 고자이마스. 차엔 나오미상 사치코 유키마츠상 아리가또 고자이마스. 호리끼리자 나쿠테 호리끼리자 나쿠테 홀리끼리 사치코 아리가또
氷
고자이마스. 예, 허버트 원경 권사님 감사합니다.
冗談
허버트 씨
ちょ
허버트
っと
씨
冗談言うと、
9:20 아니, 앞으로 20분 후에 20분에
冗談言う
9시 20분에 조인하세요. 감사합니다. 예, 감사합니다. 그리고 또 우리 또 시모미 사치코상 가와라즈니 아리가또 고자이마스. MK상 요시미상 감사합니다. 사카가미상 쿠보타 야스코상 가와사키 케이코상 이와타상 나야네시 나오미 오무라상 마니판 고주의 컨셉션 모두 감사합니다. 자, 여러분 오늘 하루도 승리하는 하루 되십시오. 감사합니다. 아이시테이마스. 아리가또 고자이마스. 에미짱 아이시테이루 사랑해요. 감사합니다.
ありがとうございました。
일단 나가세요. 일단 뵙대ください.